Picture this: a seemingly ordinary day unfolding in the City of Angels. The sun begins its ascent, casting a golden glow over the sprawling metropolis. It's a sunny Tuesday morning in Los Angeles, the kind of day where the palm trees sway gently in the breeze and the air is filled with a sense of possibility. The city awakens, stretching its limbs and preparing for another day of dreams and ambitions. The city is bustling as usual. People are hurrying to work, grabbing coffee and starting their day. The energy is palpable, a vibrant mix of cultures and aspirations. The sidewalks are crowded with people from all walks of life, each with their own story to tell. Suddenly, breaking news flashes across every screen, interrupting the rhythm of daily life. A sweeping order from Washington, mass deportations, a policy that threatens to tear apart the very fabric of the city. The news spreads like wildfire, igniting fear and uncertainty in its wake. The order calls for the National Guard to assist ICE, targeting LA, turning the city into a stage for a drama no one wanted. The streets, once symbols of freedom and opportunity, now feel like a potential trap. This wasn't just politics, it was a personal affront, a violation of the values that Los Angeles held dear. It was a direct threat to the city's immigrant heart, the very essence of what made Los Angeles unique and vibrant. The order threatened to unravel the intricate tapestry of cultures that had been woven over generations. Los Angeles, built by immigrants, suddenly found its communities under siege, its identity challenged, its spirit tested. The vibrant neighborhoods, the bustling businesses, the close-knit communities, all were now under threat. The order painted a target on neighbors, friends, and families, turning ordinary people into potential targets. The bonds that held the community together were now strained by fear and uncertainty. Fear spread fast, a chilling wind that swept through the streets, whispering doubts and anxieties into every ear. This was no longer an abstract debate confined to the halls of power, but a chilling reality unfolding in their own backyards. The news reports became more than just headlines. They were a reflection of the fear and uncertainty that gripped the city. The National Guard, trained for emergencies, for natural disasters and civil unrest, now tasked with rounding up families, with enforcing a policy that seemed to contradict everything they stood for. ICE agents, already feared by many, given a green light for large-scale raids, empowered to carry out a policy that threatened to tear families apart. The message was clear: no one was safe, regardless of their contributions, their ties to the community, or their length of residency. This wasn't about criminals. It wasn't about targeting individuals who posed a threat to public safety. It was a broad, punitive move. A sweeping action that disregarded the human cost and the devastating impact on families and communities. The city was a powder keg, simmering with tension and uncertainty, and the order was the match, threatening to ignite a firestorm of protest and resistance. Disbelief, a sense of unreality that this could be happening in their city, in their country. Anger, a burning rage at the injustice of it all, at the targeting of innocent people. And sadness swept through LA, a deep sense of loss and despair for the families who faced the prospect of being torn apart. People who'd lived here for decades, built lives, raised families, contributed to the economy, paid taxes, now faced being torn from their homes, their communities, their lives, all because of a policy that seemed to defy logic and compassion. The crisis was both legal, demanding immediate action to protect the rights of those targeted, and deeply humanitarian, requiring compassion and support for those facing unimaginable hardship. It forced everyone to take a stand. No one could sit this out. No one could remain silent in the face of such injustice. The time for complacency was over. The time for action had arrived. The shadow of Washington had fallen, casting a pall over the city, dimming its vibrant spirit and threatening to extinguish the flame of hope. And the city braced for what would come next, preparing for a fight, determined to protect its own, and ready to resist the forces that threatened to tear it apart. What happens now? The question hung in the air, heavy with uncertainty, as the city waited to see what the future held. Outrage spread online, igniting like wildfire across every platform. The digital landscape was suddenly ablaze with anger and concern, even faster than the news itself. Traditional media outlets struggled to keep pace with the sheer velocity of information cascading through social networks. The speed was unprecedented, leading the charge Kalani, a prominent voice in the digital age. The outspoken singer with deep Bay Area roots, a community they fiercely defended. Their connection to the region fueled their passion. Kalani transformed their social media, leveraging their influence for immediate impact. Into a rapid response hub, a central point for information and action, it became a lifeline for many, sharing Know Your Rights info, empowering individuals with crucial knowledge, legal hotlines providing access to essential legal assistance, and mutual aid resources, fostering a spirit of collective support and resilience. They understood the power of community. Their posts were urgent, demanding immediate attention and action. This is a state-sanctioned attack. Protect your neighbors, share resources, offer support wherever you can. Do not be silent. Silence, they knew, was complicity. Kalani wasn't just reacting. They weren't simply observing from the sidelines. They were mobilizing, galvanizing their followers into a force for change. Their platform became a digital shield for the vulnerable, a safe space in a chaotic world, offering practical help and hope, a beacon of light in the darkness. This set the tone for others, demonstrating the power of individual action. Artists and influencers followed, recognizing the urgency of the moment, using their reach to spread vital information, amplifying the message of resistance and support. Kalani showed you didn't need to be a politician to fight back. Activism could come from anywhere. Their activism inspired a ripple effect, a wave of solidarity and action spreading across the internet, turning entertainment feeds into lifelines, transforming spaces of leisure into hubs of critical information. In a moment of fear, when uncertainty gripped the city, Kalani's actions reminded people they weren't alone, fostering a sense of collective strength. The first act of resistance was sharing the truth, cutting through the noise and misinformation. Their leadership was a model for modern activism, demonstrating the power of digital tools for social change. The city's response was being shaped in real time, influenced by the voices rising from the digital streets, online and off, blurring the lines between the virtual and the physical worlds. Kalani's voice became a rallying cry, resonating with a generation demanding justice. The digital age had found its front line, and Kalani was one of its most powerful voices. Then, Kim Kardashian joined in, a voice with global reach. Once dismissed as a reality star, Kim had become a force in criminal justice reform. She used her platform to humanize the crisis, focusing on families and children. "Children shouldn't live in fear their parents will be taken," she posted. "This is a human rights issue." Her words brought the issue into millions of homes, making it mainstream. Kim's posts were shared worldwide, sparking national dialogue. She linked followers to legal aid and immigrant rights groups, turning attention into action. Her influence shifted public opinion and mobilized resources. In a crisis created by one celebrity president, another celebrity's pushback was both fitting and powerful. The culture itself was fighting back. As celebrities sounded the alarm, using their platforms to amplify the concerns of the community, Angelenos, stirred by a sense of urgency and injustice, took to the streets. They came from all corners of the city, driven by a shared desire to make their voices heard. Protests erupted citywide, a spontaneous outpouring of collective emotion and a firm declaration of solidarity. The energy was palpable, a mix of anger, fear, and unwavering resolve. Demonstrations stretched from City Hall, the symbolic heart of Los Angeles, to neighborhood sidewalks, transforming ordinary residential areas into vibrant hubs of activism and resistance. Teachers, students, leading by example and inspiring the younger generation, parents and elders, each carrying their own stories and experiences, marched together, united in defiance against policies they deemed unjust and inhumane. They linked arms, a physical manifestation of their shared commitment. Signs read, "No human is illegal," a powerful statement of inclusivity and human rights, and "Families belong together," a plea to end the devastating separation of families at the border. Chants of "El pueblo unido jamás será vencido," "The people united will never be defeated," echoed through LA, resonating with the city's rich history of social justice movements. These weren't just protests. They were more than simple demonstrations of dissent. They were acts of protection, a shield against fear and uncertainty. Rapid response networks formed, fueled by social media and word of mouth, volunteers rushing to ICE raid sites, ready to provide legal aid, translation services, and emotional support. To support families and document events, ensuring transparency and accountability. Maria, a college student, her voice trembling with emotion, said, "My parents are undocumented. They've worked hard their entire lives contributing to this community. This is their home. This is where they've built their lives, raised their family, and contributed to the fabric of our society. We have to protect each other." Her words resonated deeply, capturing the essence of the movement. For many this was personal. It wasn't an abstract political debate about family, not politics, about protecting loved ones and preserving their way of life. The protests declared, a resounding message to those in power. Louisiana would not become a hunting ground for those seeking to divide and deport its residents. The message to immigrant communities, a beacon of hope in a time of uncertainty: you are not alone, we stand with you. Thousands marching brought hope amid fear, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can prevail. The city's unity stood in stark contrast, a powerful counter-narrative to divisive government rhetoric which sought to sow discord and create an atmosphere of fear. LA wrapped its arms around its most vulnerable, offering sanctuary and unwavering support. Fear was transformed into collective action, a testament to the resilience and determination of the community. Even against overwhelming power, against seemingly insurmountable odds, a united community proved formidable, a force to be reckoned with. A new generation of artists, Renee Rapp and Doechii, amplified the movement. Rapp, a fierce LGBTQ+ advocate, linked immigrant rights to broader justice. This is a queer issue, a human issue. She reminded followers that many LGBTQ+ people are immigrants seeking safety. Doechii brought energy, sharing protest videos and calls to action. She urged fans, listen to the organizers, support them, show up. Both used their platforms to spotlight grassroots voices, not just their own. Their activism mobilized young fans, making activism part of their culture. Rapp and Doechii weren't just celebrities, they were organizers. The new celebrity vanguard was about engagement and responsibility. Their voices fueled a real-world movement. Behind the headlines, families lived in terror. The threat was immediate. Parents faced detention and deportation, leaving US-born children behind. Daily life changed. Even school felt unsafe. Children disappeared from classrooms, too anxious to learn. The trauma was collective, scarring a generation. Dreamers, brought here as kids, saw their futures thrown into doubt. The American promise felt betrayed. Stories of families torn apart multiplied, each one a tragedy. The policy shattered lives with cold indifference. Political decisions had devastating human consequences. Amid chaos, an army of lawyers and activists mobilized. Legal aid groups launched Know Your Rights campaigns, practical, shareable in many languages. Advice was clear: remain silent, don't open the door without a warrant, ask for a lawyer. Free legal clinics sprang up in community centers and churches. Hotlines ran 24/7, offering immediate help. These efforts empowered families, prevented wrongful deportations, and upheld the rule of law. Legal aid became a shield against a system designed to overwhelm. For LGBTQ+ immigrants, deportation meant unique dangers, sometimes even a death sentence. Many fled persecution, only to face new risks in US detention. The system wasn't equipped to protect them. Trans detainees faced particular threats. Activists highlighted these dangers, fighting for intersectional justice. LGBTQ+ rights groups and immigrant rights groups joined forces, their struggles intertwined. Rainbow flags flew alongside national flags at protests, a symbol of indivisible justice. Protecting one meant fighting for all. The LA crisis was painful, but it revealed the power of community and hope. The backlash showed that compassion can be rebellion. The fight isn't over. Vigilance and action are still needed. Support frontline organizations. Donate, volunteer, amplify their work. Stay informed and engaged even when headlines fade. Challenge dehumanizing rhetoric. See immigrants as people, not threats. Our united voices can counter fear and division. The story of LA asks, what kind of country do we want to be? The fight for immigrant rights is a fight for America's soul. Let's build a future of dignity, respect, and compassion for all.